Welcome to the Hard Truth Podcast. This is Jeremy Fouts, and welcome to the year of 2025. I hope you guys had a great holiday. I definitely did. Traveling with the family, doing different things with the boys on the outdoors. And, this podcast, I really think can help a lot of you understand a lot about life, as I'm going to be talking about the 4 seasons of life. I had a mentor that I followed a lot when I was seeking personal development in my 30s. And when I was starting a new business, this training I'm going to share with you really helped me understand life and definitely helped me understand the ups and downs in life. And I hope that you not only listen to this training, but you really digest it and understand it. And I definitely think it's going to set you up for a new year of 2025. I planned on doing another podcast on masculinity. I'm going to be doing that next. And we have a lot of neat guests that we're going to be coming on the podcast as well. So we are working hard in the year of 2025 to deliver you the truth through the Hard Truth Podcast.
Let's go! What up?
I think a lot of reasons why this training is brings so much inspiration to me is I grew up in an agriculture background, so I understood the 4 seasons of life: your spring, your summer, your fall, and your winter. And I love this whole concept because growing up in an agriculture family, you understood that winter was important. Even though a lot of people didn't understand the winter, you understood the importance of springtime, getting as many seeds in the ground as possible. You understood the summertime of getting rid of the weeds and the cultivation and all the things to set up a healthy harvest. So when I was in my 30s, as I mentioned, this training literally helped me make millions and millions of dollars of understanding the 4 seasons of life. And I hope that I'm going to just take this through this training to you, and I hope that you apply this and really understand a lot of the disappointments, a lot of the rewards, and a lot of the struggles that happens in life. So point number 1, life in business is like the change of seasons. There's 92 days in the spring, 92 days in the summer, 91 days in the fall, and 90 days in the winter. Now, when I was in my 30s and I really understood this training, that's why I put 90-day principles in the time frame of I am going to work 90 days as hard as I can. I'm going to start springtime right now. I'm going to plant as many seeds as possible, get through the summer, see what my harvest is, plan in the winter, and then I'm going to go again. And that's literally what helped me make millions and millions of dollars for my family, is understanding this process. So many times people, they're always in the winter months. They're always complaining about, family issues, boss not giving them a raise, all these different things. And they never decide that I'm going to create springtime right now. So even though this is the beginning part of the year, if you're listening to this now later on in July or August, you can determine when your spring starts at any time. So let's get started. Number 1, you can't change the seasons, but you can change self. That's the first thing you have to understand. So I'm going to go through the different seasons and what they entail, but what you've got to understand, you can't change the seasons. It's going to happen. You're going to have all these seasons hit you in life, but you can change self, which determines your outcome. So understand that. Now let's talk about wintertime. This is one of the things that really hurt me until I was in my mid-30s that I understood it. Because I watched, no matter what I did, I always had the ability to succeed at things, but I seemed like my life had a lot of peaks and then really drastic valleys. And then I thought it was just something I was doing wrong. I'd have another peak in business. I've owned a lot of different businesses. Then I'd have another valley. I didn't understand this was just part of life, just like the sun coming up and the sun going down. I didn't understand that. So let's talk about wintertime. You have to learn how to handle the winters that come after fall. They will always come. Difficulty always follows opportunity. And I don't know what kind of winter you're going through now, or maybe you just came out of, or maybe you're about to go into. It could be sickness, it could be heartbroken, it could be a death in the family, but we will get through the winters. So that's one thing you've got to understand. I mean, last fall, for example, this is a little bit embarrassing to say, but in November, I was so excited about the year 2024. November 18th, I got bit by a brown recluse spider on my penis. Yes, I said that correctly. And the struggles of that for 6 months with a 3-inch hole, getting scraped once or twice a week, going through all those different things, and then I almost get healed completely. Then I had a car accident, and then they found a brain tumor on me. I mean, there's always going to be stuff happen in your life, and that's what I call the winter time. But we will get through the winters. How do we handle them? Here's what really determines how you handle the winters. We get better, we get stronger and wiser. And remember this, winters don't last forever. Winters don't last forever. That's something that you've got to understand if you're going through a winter time. You might have just came out, like I said, of a winter time. You may be about to go into a winter time, but you got to remember you will get through the winters. They won't last forever, but you have got to focus on getting better, stronger, and wiser. Difficulty is necessary for health and success. No pain, no gain. We've heard that for a lot of years now, but law of nature that in order to gain strength, one has to push one's limits, which is painful. So understanding that the winter is going to come, but the winter will not last forever. And what's going to determine how quick you get out of that winter is if you become better, stronger, and wiser. So winters are going to come. That was real good for me to understand in the 30s. I thought it was something I was doing wrong. I thought it was, that life just wanted to always push back when I started getting some success. Winters happen to all of us. That's one of the seasons of life. Get better, get stronger, get wiser. The next season is springtime. Now, spring always comes after winter. And now that I'm getting to be 48-year-old, I really love the spring. It's probably one of my favorite times. But here's what you got to understand. It seems like that sometimes the winter, is not going to give way to the spring, but it has to. The difficult time has to give way to the opportunity. The recession has to give way to expansion. Take advantage of the springtime. Seize that moment. You only have so many springs left in your life. That's why they call that a window of opportunity. Don't be lazy or distracted. Get up early and work late, and now's the time to pour it on. So if you say, Jeremy, how's this relating to me? See, I was thinking about doing a podcast talking about goals and different things for the year 2025 of kicking off the year. And as I really started doing some studying, and I always try to I look at my demographics of the age of men that listen to this podcast, and I'm like, and I know we have some women too. Jay Webb is a big supporter, a lot of different women, so sorry to take away from that. But I look and I say, what is something that was most important for me, more than goal setting, was understanding these times and season. That in order to get through the winter, it was about me changing self. And it was about me going into springtime and recognizing I don't have very many springtimes left. And if I really want to take advantage of leaving a powerful legacy for my wife and 2 boys, I've got to seize this opportunity. For you, it might be finances, it might be relationships, it might be physical goals. But you only get so many opportunities. And once you become stronger, better, and wiser, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it always happens where opportunity is coming after difficulty. So you might walk into work next week with a positive attitude because you decided to change your attitude regardless of how you dislike your work. You might work on self, and then next thing you know, you get a promotion. Next thing you know, you decide to work on your physical. Next thing you know, you're becoming a total different person. But in the springtime, it's about taking advantage of the opportunity. You didn't ask my dad to go bowling during the springtime. He was planting as many seeds as he could plant. He was working as hard as he could to put as many seeds in the ground to give him an opportunity for a great harvest. You've got to take advantage of that time. So if you're not where you want to be in life, maybe winter has went way too long for you, then I'm telling you, today is the day to decide that this is springtime and you're going to seize the moment. Number three, number four actually is summertime. Now, summertime was definitely a time where what happens is people get excited. They maybe listen to a training like this and are like, you know what, I'm done with winter. I'm going to make a plan to get out of this. They start working extremely hard at new goals in life, whether that be at their job, whether it be starting a new business, whether that be, working on their physical goals, all these different things, and they work real hard. And then what happens is the summertime comes. Now, this is a challenging time. We have two things going for us. One is opportunity, and the other is enemies. And the enemies usually are doubt, complaining, not making decisions, and not being conscious of who is around you, your inner circle. We have to nourish our values in the summer and a lot of personal development, digging down deep, no quitting on what you started. It's called opportunity in the making. You can't walk away from the seeds that was planted. You have to invest in you and invest in the people around you. Candace and I, when we first got married, I was 21, she was 20, and we was young, and we went on a honeymoon in Cancun, and before long, it was like 8 years that went by, and we took no vacations. So we planted a watermelon crop, and we was going to take the money by selling those watermelons and spend all of that on another nice vacation in Mexico. And it was about 110 degrees, and there was weeds everywhere in the watermelon field. And, we're hoeing those weeds and trying to get the crop because we planted these seeds. So only way to be able to make a good harvest is we got to kill out the enemies. We got to get rid of the weeds by cultivating them and making sure that the plants have the right nutrition from fertilizer standpoint, all these different things. And I'll never forget getting back to the truck that one day, probably 3 days after hoeing 10, 12 hours a day, hoeing out the weeds, all these different things. And we're hot, we're sweaty. And next time she looks at me and she goes, next year, let's just go to vacation in Branson, Missouri. She was like so frustrated with the amount of work that went into that to be able to make the harvest. And that's what happens with a lot of people during the summertime. They get all excited. They all want to plant a bunch of seeds, and then the summertime happens. And their friends and family say, how's that new business going for you? How's that new diet you're doing? How's your workouts going? All these different things. And then we have doubt creep in. We have complaining, that we want to complain that it's my boss's fault, or it's my wife's fault, or my husband's fault. Understand, the summertime, you're moments away from a reward if you understand how to conquer all that negativity. Make sure you stay focused on the prize you're going after, and understand fall is right around the corner. Now let's talk about fall time. Fall time after summer of fighting enemies, having the discipline, doing the hard things people don't see. In due time, the harvest will come. Now here's what you got to do though. You got to own your outcome. You got to accept your personal harvest with full responsibility and no need to complain because it's your crop. See, in society today, what happens is, we don't want to get out of the wintertime because we want to just manifest and complain about our situations. Then if we do, we plant a few seeds, and then we get to summertime. We don't want to do the work when no one's watching. And then we get to harvest time at the end of the fall, and we look and say, well, it just didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to turn out. No, you are responsible for your own crop. You're responsible for your own life. You're responsible for what it is that you want to become for your wife and for your kids and for your husband and for your business or whatever that situation may be. But you have to take full responsibility of the fall time. You have to measure that harvest. And regardless of how good it was, you got to say, you know what? I'm about to go through winter. I'm going to get a better plan. And then I'm going to push it even harder in the spring. I'm going to push it even harder next summer. I'm going to have a larger harvest. See, at 48 years old, I learned this when I was 32 or 33. And I'm telling you right now, once you understand this concept and take full responsibility of your harvest with no complaining, it's only then when you can go out in a new spring and work harder and better, working through the summer and then measuring it again. Now, I'll leave you with this, the hard truth. The hard truth that I wrote out this morning, it's pretty simple, but I want you to write this down if you're not driving. There is a price and pain that will have to take place before the promise is achieved. The clearer you see the promise, the easier it gets. Choose labor over rest, education over entertainment, truth over delusion, and confidence over doubt. The choice is ours. Does no good to curse where we are in life, but continue to nourish the cause. So I hope you write that down. And I hope this year in 2025, yes, I want you to make some goals. But I want you to focus on 90 days at a time. And I want you to write out what it is that you want to accomplish physically, spiritually, relationship-wise, what you want to do in your business, what do you want to do in your profession. And take this serious as the springtime, to plant as many seeds as you can, but to know that there's going to be another 90 days that you're going to be going through the summertime, and will you prevail and push forward and get rid of those enemies? That way you can enjoy the harvest that you want. So the 4 seasons of life, it's pretty simple. The winter is going to be there. It's going to come. Get better, get stronger, get wiser. The spring is there. You better seize the opportunity. You don't have very many springtimes left. In the summertime, get rid of the enemies. Fight through it. Don't quit on what you started. And then in the fall time, let's measure what we got and we work harder the next time. Thank you guys for joining the Hard Truth Podcast. Welcome to 2025. And thank you for all of your support in 2024. And guys, understand the 4 seasons of life and go apply them to your life. And let's go make the most out of your harvest that's coming soon. Thank you guys.
Let's go.